Gateway Arch National Park, located in St. Louis, Missouri, is the smallest park by far at only 91 acres. It is located on the riverfront in downtown St. Louis. Why is it a full-fledged national park? Well, the subject for another video. See the description box below for the link to that video. But let's take a tour of the park. The main attraction at Gateway Arch is the arch that was completed in 1965. It commemorates the role Thomas Jefferson played in the westward expansion of the United States. It is an iconic symbol that embodies the adventurous spirit of America and one of the most recognizable. There are two parts of the national park, connected by Luther Eli Smith Park, a broad walkway over Interstate 44. The arch is between the interstate and the Mississippi River, and the Old Courthouse is on the other side of the interstate. The walkway is very well done, and you never know that there's a highway under you as you walk the 3/10 of a mile between the arch and the Old Courthouse. The arch is 630 feet tall. Just as a comparison, it is taller than the Seattle Space Needle and the Washington Monument. It is also 630 feet wide and sits parallel to the Mississippi River. It is the tallest structure in Missouri and dominates the riverfront landscape of St. Louis. The arch itself is 54 feet at the base and 17 feet at the top with a stainless steel skin. The plaza surrounding the arch is very nice, with a nice riverfront walk and a dock for sightseeing boats. It is on par with many riverfront city parks. The Visitor Center, located under the arch, is the best of any national parks. The entrance faces west, with a nice view of the Old Courthouse. It was designed to be unobtrusive. The plaza and the museum underwent a $380 million renovation just before it became a flagship national park in 2018. The museum chronicles the initial establishment of St. Louis in 1764 to the present day. The entrance is modern, beautiful, and clean. As you enter, there are ticket counters where you can buy tickets. There is a fee for the museum, the tram ride to the top, the documentary, and the riverboat tour. A platform with a stylized map of the United States used for public functions is just behind the entrance hall. The main museum is on the lower floor and extends towards the river from the entrance. As you walk towards the exhibits, large video screens show various pictures and videos themed on the westward expansion of the United States. The exhibit is about the history of St. Louis, westward expansion of the United States, and daily life in that period. It is in 5 sections. The first section is Colonial St. Louis from 1764, when St. Louis was established as a fur trading post, to 1804. St. Louis became part of the United States with the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. There is a house typical of that era transplanted to the museum, simulated videos of what St. Louis looked like at that time, and other artifacts of the era. The second section is Jefferson's vision from 1804 to 1840. St. Louis was the capital of the Louisiana Territory from 1812 until Missouri gained statehood in 1821. St. Louis was incorporated as a city in 1822. The arrival of the steamboat, the Zebulon M. Pike, in 1817 ushered a new era of growth. The city is the northernmost port for riverboats due to the rapids on the Mississippi to the north. The courthouse was completed in 1839. The third section is the riverfront era, from 1838 to 1860. There's a model of the riverfront with day and night light cycles and steamboats docked on the river. At one time, St. Louis was the 3rd busiest port in the United States. A covered wagon in this section gave a real good look at the main mode of transportation as Americans migrated west. This was the kickoff point for most people's westward journey. 6 months of provision was typical to be carried in these wagons for the trip west. Just imagine the adventurous spirit and the hope that drove people to take the risk, the hardship, and the uncertainty for the journey. The fourth section is New Frontiers, from 1860 to 1930. During the Civil War, the city was under Union control. The railroad came to St. Louis, and the exhibit showed the goods of daily life. The Ajax Bridge over the Mississippi River was completed in 1874, connecting St. Louis to the east. Union Station opened in 1894, with more railroads meeting in St. Louis than any other city in the United States. In 1904, St. Louis hosted both the World's Fair and the Summer Olympics. It was an up-and-coming city. The fifth section is Building the Arch, from 1930 to today. St. Louis City population peaked in the late 1950s at about 880,000 residents. Early urban renewal for the riverfront memorial to honor Thomas Jefferson started in the 1930s, led by Eli Smith. In 1948, the Finnish architect Eero Saarinen's design of the arch was chosen. But construction did not start until 1954. The arch was topped out in 1965, and the Museum and Visitor Center opened in 1976. The entrance to the trams that take you to the top of the arch, along with the theater, gift shop, and restaurants, are at the eastern end of the exhibit. The arch is beautiful in its simplicity. It naturally draws the eyes to the sky. At the top of the arch is a room for 140 people with small windows. There are 2 trams that go between the base and the top, one on each leg. Each tram has 8 capsules with 5 seats each. The capsules are cramped, only 5 feet in diameter. The only view from the tram is the dark interior of the arch. Most of the time, the view is the staircase for maintenance and emergencies. The trip to the top takes 4 minutes. The capsule stays horizontal as it moves up, rotating a total of 155 degrees. The trip down takes 3 minutes. At the top, one side overlooks the Mississippi River and Illinois, while the other side overlooks the city of St. Louis, with Busch Stadium and downtown in clear view. You have to crouch down to look out the window because the room is less than 7 feet tall and the windows at about 4 feet from the ground. But you can stay as long as you want. The space is pretty small, so you have to wait your turn at the window. It can feel cramped, and few stays more than 15 minutes at the top. The view from the top is fantastic, especially on the city side. It is the St. Louis version of an observation tower. East St. Louis, across the river in Illinois, is more industrial and has many factories and docks, while the St. Louis side is all city. The documentary, Monument to the Dream, that chronicles the construction of the arch, plays at the Tucker Theater for a fee, and there is a riverboat cruise aboard a steamship to explore the Mississippi River. The Old Courthouse, a short walk from the riverfront park, is one of the oldest structures in St. Louis. This is where the Dred Scott case to free himself as a slave was heard in 1847 and in 1850. Ultimately, Dred Scott was granted his freedom by the United States Supreme Court in 1857 that laid the foundation for the Civil War. The other famous event that the Old Courthouse had is the Virgina Minor trial. She sued for women's right to vote in 1873. Ultimately, she was not successful because the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the state's right to establish women's right to vote. The battle for women's right to vote moved to each state. The Old Courthouse is grand and has a dome that's common in such buildings. The interior is colorful and awe-inspiring. The original courthouse was built in 1828, and a second courthouse was built in 1837 that incorporated the original courthouse as the East Wing. That wing was demolished in 1851, replaced by a new wing.
This elegant courtroom served as the Court of Common Pleas from 1843 to 1865. This stands immediately above the room in which Dred Scott case was heard in 1847 and 1850. The lower courtroom was divided by walls in 1855 when major renovations were made to this wing of the building. Because of the 1855 alterations, the Dred Scott courtroom no longer exists, but we can get some impression of what it looked like from this courtroom.
Gateway Arch is a great place to visit. It has an interesting history, an iconic structure, and the best visitor center of any national park, and a fun ride to the top. We are on our way to visit all the national parks in the United States. Follow along by hitting the subscribe button below. Hit the notification bell so you know when a new video is released. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video, and please share it with everybody that you know.